Hi, and welcome to the channel. I'm Christopher Evans, founder of Teleoculus, and I wanted to tell you all about beginnings. Where did this all begin? Where we plan to be, and where are we in development? For me, having no idea where to begin, it was very difficult to find footing in an industry. Having the pursuit to enter into any one of the relevant industries like retail, fashion, finance, tech, etc., had a kind of impossible feeling to it. If your thing is making things or talking about and showcasing things that are made and or being made, the barriers to entering into those industries are always there. What is an obstacle and what is an opportunity?
Hello.
I initially had to find
I'm here
out
for
what it
those.
was
Yep.
that I wanted to do. Becoming creative and taking a step forward meant contending with these two concepts. I'm a major nerd, so to me, they represented two mountain-sized
Yeah, I've got one of those
sentries
too.
guarding entry
They are
with a kind of
tons
riddle.
of fun.
The riddle. One of us tells
yes, I do.
only truths, the other only
I'll
lies.
take two.
Going forward meant figuring out the answer. So, to put it another way, I tried to understand what an obstacle is. My answer was whatever
Do the
is
tap
in my
dance.
way to achieving my goals or aspirations. The next question became, how do I get past an obstacle? I could either remove the obstacle
so much.
via brute methods
Get 'em
or
in there.
have it removed by those with the strength and know how to do so. In this epic of creating Teleoculus, my first obstacle wasn't funding or a business plan, business model, or anything like that. My first real obstacle was motivation. The necessity for any quote way forward, in my understanding, is motivation. I was lacking in locomotion or the means to get my butt in gear and start doing the things I wanted to do. What I want to do and planned for this business runs wild in my mind daily. Just that thought. The reason for that is likely because of the necessity to develop alternative resources of income due to a kind of scarcity or a presumption of it. However, this wasn't motivating enough because I had already been working a full-time job for the past 13 and a half years. As a United States Army active duty service member, the paychecks kept coming. The cost of living just kept going up as if there was no end. But that steady paycheck made living possible. But because of the increase in cost of living and a lack of increased wages, I think that the idea of finding additional vehicles of income would have crossed my mind. You'd be right. In 2021, I started a business as a nonprofit organization that offered funding to young African American artists who wanted their artistic dreams realized. This quote unquote business was less of a business and more of a charity. Not that charities aren't businesses, but less of a charity still, as it was just a way for me to help people. My wife will tell you, it doesn't matter who you are. If you asked for it and I got it, I'm giving it.
All right.
I started with a few friends and then my coworkers. And one client to this day is a professional engineer, singer, and songwriter. Another client was an acquaintance of my coworker, who also is a singer-songwriter. She's signed to a label and everything. Ultimately, the obstacles for creating a business are superficial, when the drive to do so can be as simple as improving on an already developed product or creating a revolutionary method or technique. I think everyone dreams of starting a business or getting rich, supporting their family and or friends. So my motivation was there, just buried beneath uncertainty and misaligned, poorly oriented in the wrong directions.
That's what I figured out.
Now the charity had a business plan, business model, a drawn up concept for monetization and revenue production. A ton of stuff that meant a whole lot of nothing, and that in the end was more of a failure
into the dirt
that amounted to an opportunity to grow bolder on my path to establishing Teleoculus. Now, Teleoculus wouldn't receive an EIN, business account, website, or marketing strategy until several years later. The same old motivations were present for all those years leading up to the start of Teleoculus and its first customers. But with premiums rising, wages stagnating, and on top of that, my voracious hunger for helping those around me made the years go by very slowly. The success of my charity, which was formerly known as Legionnaire Industries, wouldn't become evident until my coworker, who had kept in touch for several years, would post on his social media positive happenings in his life, sharing things like the invitations he'd received from prominent artists in his area. Then, a year later, he presented his fans, of which I count myself among the many, with an actual record. To me, this is no small feat. An album produced and minted across the internet is a big deal, and I congratulated him on it, as he had attributed my efforts as essential. At the time, I was overjoyed by his success. But then I became envious. I was proud he was making what I would say is significant progress in his dreams and aspirations. Then it hit me. What am I waiting for? On June 6th, 2025, I filed with the state for an EIN and minted the name Teleoculus. Obviously, not knowing and having a less than reasonable amount of information on how to file for a business, I filed for a LLC and continued to develop the body, heart, and soul of the company. Originally, Teleoculus is a photography-based business, providing photo and video services to clients. The industry of service-based business was new to me. However, I was already heavily committed to photography. During 2023, through 2025, I spent my days as a drill sergeant stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia. For 3 years, I would be dislocated from my family, left with only a few friends who had retired to the local Columbus, Georgia area, and the occasional friend who would present themselves and let me know that they were in town due to school or training events. So during this time away from my family and friends, I found opportunity. One day I waltzed into Barnes & Noble's, as I would on occasion. My friend, whom I had helped move just a little further forward in his dream, had shared some new information. It was good news. At this point, I've become discontent with my lack of movement towards my goals. While attempting to console myself with literature, I picked up a book on photography titled Digital Photography Complete Course: Everything You Need to Know in 20 Weeks. This is the part that I call divine opportunity. The set of circumstances that would embolden me to start my business had only really begun to manifest. Like, I had really already tried my hand at business by helping several individuals get a few steps forward, but I made no money during the venture. Because of my dislocation from my family and the jealousy founded on past practices having bared fruit, and positive fruit at that, and picking up a hobby that would become the basis for the business idea, which would become Teleoculus. It just made more sense than my present feelings of sorrow, really, for myself, for not doing what I wanted to do. With a book on digital photography, 20 weeks of autodidactic learning, and a proclivity to give back to my community, I figured out the riddle and started Teleoculus. Thank you for joining me on the multi-part series covering the story of the Teleoculus. If you're down to do so, visit the Instagram, X, and Teleoculus page for added content and booking information. Leave a comment or a question. Like and subscribe for episodes, updates, and more. Thanks for watching. Till next time.